Good morning, guys. Am I audible?
Yes, Karthik.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Thank you. So let us get started, guys. So yesterday we looked at wait method, sleep method differences, and then the difference between notify all, notify, why, wait, notify all are present in the object class. So can someone tell me the difference between sleep and wait?
Sleep method belonging to the thread class, whereas the wait method is belonging to the object class. We have to use the synchronized block only in wait method. Thread method will sleep method won't release the lock, where wait method will be release the lock. Wait is used to handle the synchronization only. Otherwise, we will get the illegal monitoring state exception.
Okay. So any other differences, anyone? Others, any other differences? Sleep method will sleep for certain whatever the amount of time that you have mentioned. Wait method will sleep or will go into the wait mode until the notify or notify all is called. Okay. So what is the difference between notify and notify all?
Notify method will call back to the which are the waiting method. It will call back only only one thread within the same object. Where notify all will call all the methods which are waiting in the particular object only.
Okay. Any other answers, anyone? What is the difference between notify and notify all? Anyone would like to answer it? Yes, even if it is wrong, not a problem. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Notify method will notify only to single thread. Notify all notifies to all the threads which are waiting.
Okay. So whenever we are using a thread, so object lock will acquire. So multiple threads can have an object lock on a single object. Okay. So now what notify will do? For example, yesterday we have seen, so ATM thread, ATM2 thread are having the lock on the Karthik account. So currently 2 object locks are there, right, on one single account. So when we say notify, any of the thread, which whether it's ATM thread or ATM2 thread, will come back to the execution on the Karthik account. Sorry. So when we say notify all the threads which are waiting on the particular object lock will be released, and then all the threads which are waiting will come back to the execution. So the thread will come back to the execution. So the only thing you need to remember is based on the object lock. So on the same object, how many threads are waiting? All those threads will come back to the execution in notify all, and only one thread will come back to the execution in notify. And which one thread will be executing, we do not know. It all depends on the scheduler. And can someone tell me why this wait, notify all are present in the object class? Why not in thread class?
Because of inter-thread communication.
Yeah. Any other answers, anyone?
It acquires a lock on the object, not on the thread.
Yeah. So whenever it is acquiring the lock on an object and wait method is releasing the lock, so one thread has to tell another thread, hey, I have completed the work. You can come back to the execution whenever the notify is set. So that particular thread is coming back to the execution, whichever is having the lock on the same object. That means we are talking and doing everything in terms of object. So that is the basic to have the methods in the object class rather than the thread class, because object class is a parent for all the classes in Java. So apart from this, we also seen What is the drawback of a thread? We cannot reuse a thread. And in order to overcome the drawback, the thread pool has been introduced in Java. So there are 4 thread pool: single thread pool, cached thread pool, fixed thread pool, scheduled thread pool. So this thread pool concept is introduced in Java 1.5. And how this thread pool can be implemented? Can someone tell me how the thread pool can be implemented?
Using the executor.
Yeah, using the executor. So there is a class called executors. And in this class, there are some static methods like new fixed thread pool, or new single thread pool, or new cached thread pool, or new single thread pool, schedule thread pool. By calling those methods, we can create a pool. Now, in the normal way of thread creation, start method will create an independent path of execution. So in terms of executor, which will create an independent path of execution?
Executor dot new fixed thread pool.
Execute method.
Yeah, so executors dot new fixed thread pool will create a thread pool. Whatever the number that you may, if you are using a fixed thread pool, what is the meaning? The number of threads created is fixed. Now, but whenever you say thread, independent path should be there. So in the normal thread creation, implementing runnable interface or executing extend thread class, and by creating a thread object, we need to call the start method. But whenever you are using a executed service, the execute method or submit method is responsible to create a independent path of execution, which we are going to see maybe a little later. Okay. Now this is what we have discussed in the previous class. Now let us start with today's class. In today, we are going to write the multi-threading example, and I will show you what is the disadvantage of. You already know the disadvantage of normal thread. You cannot reuse it, but in the executors we can reuse it. That is what I am trying to show you.
We have.
Sir, before
Sir, we
going
have
on those,
thread group also, no? One thread group class.
Yeah, we will see that later.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it out?
sir, actually, yesterday I tried if I use the class level lock, inside
Okay.
class level lock means I have to use the static method.
Okay.
So wait, inside can we use the wait method?
Wherever, see, yes, you can use.
But static, it is asking like static block not allow.
So, okay, whenever you are writing, okay. So, okay, I'll come to that later. Yeah,
Okay.
I understand your question. I'll tell you. Okay, so let's complete this one because we need around at least 40 to 50 minutes of time for this example. Now, now I'm taking, so how many of you are having an insurance policy?
I have the policy.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. So, so whatever the policy that you have, so before the 10 days or 15 days or 1 month of your premium date, do you guys get a message or
Yes.
email saying that the premium is due? Correct?
Yes.
Now, so you are like a customer to the company, right? Insurance company, you are a customer. So assume that there are. So what is the program that we are going to do? For example, I am working in some LIC corporation. Okay. Now, if I am working in the LIC corporation, at any day, at any given day, there are n number of policies for which we need to trigger the email or notice that your premium due is on so and so date. Please continue to do the payment to make the policy in force. Can I say that I have to do every day?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have to send every day. So for example, on a particular day today, so maybe so we will get a notification 1 month before. So today is 8th March, and on 9th April or 8th April, so there are around 1 million policies which requires the premium to be paid. So on 8th April, there are 1 million policies, they have to do the payment. Can I say 1 month before means on 8th March, I have to, all these 1 million policies, there may be customers, correct? All those customers, can I say that I have to send a message or email?
Yes.
And in that message or email, I have to mention that this is your so-and-so policy number. Please complete the payment to make the policy in force. Okay. Now, in order to do this, see how many records I have to say on 8th April. So that means first I will write a query, correct? To the database, select star from some table called policy, where I will write policy due date is in next month, correct? Policy due or premium due date. Premium due date is less than or equal to, I will pass the, like greater than today's date and less than after 1 month date. I will pass. So can I say this query will give me 1 million record?
Yes.
Okay. Once it is giving the 1 million records, if you are writing a single thread application or normal, if you are, so generally, what do you think? So if you do not know threads, after getting the data in the main method or whatever it is, so for 1 million records, do you guys think that I will go to the web application and click here to send a message? Can I do that? Is it possible?
No, sir. We had
So
missed
from the
it.
web application, I cannot click button to send a message for 1 million records, right? It takes a lot of time. So we need some automation process. Do you guys agree? In this scenario, in this functional example, can I say I need to do the automation?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So now whenever you are doing the automation, for example, what do you do? In order to say, when I say automation, what do you write? You will write simply Java program, some class, test, and main method. Yeah, whoever is not speaking, please go on mute. In the main method, you will write for loop, first execute the query. So once you execute the query, you will get 1 million records. Can I say I will write I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 1 million record, and then I will write whatever the code I want to execute. I mean, triggering the message, etc. So if I do like this, can I say, will it take some time?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Satish, there is a background noise. Please go on mute. So if I am doing this one, this will take time. Now, I have to do this logic, but standalone logic only. I don't want to do from the website. It takes time. But I have to, using the threads, we can reduce this one. Okay. Now, how we are going to do is, I'm going to tell. Now, in order to do this example, now what we need to execute a query. So when instead of executing a query, I will hard code the data. Now, so generally, whoever is getting a person like message, that is a person, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm creating one class called customer. In this thread pool, let me create one class called customer. In the customer class, let me create customer name. Okay. Now let me create string policy number. Premium due message. Correct? That is whatever the thing, whether I have to send an email or message, I have to prepare the body of the message, right? Message. Okay. Now, so now what I have to do whenever I'm iterating over the each policy number, I have to perform the message and then now double premium. So these are the variables I created. Now let me create a setter getters for this. Source generate setters and getters. Okay. Now once this is done, let me create a constructor as well. Now constructor, I am creating a constructor with message is the one should come dynamically, correct? Like whenever I perform the multi-threading, the message has to be constructed, right? Now let me do gen source generate constructors using this field. Let me remove the message because this message I will construct using a threads. Okay, now, and so in the what I will write another class. Multi-threading for insurance. Premium. I'm just creating a class called multi-threading for insurance. This is a class. Now in this class, so as I mentioned just now, I have to call the select star from policy table query. But I do not have a database connection. What I'm doing, I will create a customers manually. So in order to do the customers, can I say that I have created a class customer C equal to new customer. The first person name is Karthik. Okay. Now policy number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And the premium I have, the premium that is due is 1 lakh rupees. So can I do, if I do like this, can I say that I'm hard coding the data?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Now instead of writing the query, I'm doing this one. What is the mistake I'm done? String, double string. Okay. So this is a policy number. Let me keep PL. Okay, done. So we cannot do here for 1 million records, right? So let me take around 10 records and I will show you how the threads can be reusable. So I have created 10 records. Now okay, one more. Now let us take, can you guys tell me different names? Customers?
Harish.
Okay.
Ashok.
Yeah, one. Okay. Next Ashok. Next Shankar. Okay. Tell me next. Ganesh next.
Naveen.
Okay, quickly.
Ravi, Raju, John.
Okay. Now policy number, let me take. Nine 452. I'm taking the same number. Just change the number and then 3, 4. So these are the policy numbers. Now let us take the premium. Some people will have 10,000. Some people will have 1,000 rupees. Some people will have 55 lakhs, 6,000, 7,000, 80,000, 500, 5,000. Yeah. Can I say my data is ready?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So these are the individual objects. Now, can I say array? Can I create a array list so that I can perform the data on top of this?
Yes.
Customer. So customer list equal to new customer list. Sorry, new array list. Any questions so far? Anyone till now?
No.
Customer list dot add. Can I say C? So similarly, I will add all the customers. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. So you might be wondering, why did I create an object first and then here adding link? Directly here itself, I can, whenever I'm adding a new customer, I can create. Okay. that is another way of doing, no issues. So in order to make it clear for everyone, some people know this, some people does not know. In order to make it clear for everyone, I just created a customer objects because we do not have the database connectivity. Okay. And then I added to the data. Now, can I say I have all the customers with me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now what I need to do, instead of writing, generally what is the work that you do? So, I want to I want to send a message. Okay. Through email or message, you want to do it. Then what do? Generally, you will write for loop and you iterate over this customer list dot size. And you will write, see, we are not interested how to trigger a message email, but we are trying to do that work, like multi-threading. Okay. Now, can I say here you will write one method called public void trigger email. Okay. And it requires some object. So this is a method you are writing. Now, can I say this method you will call inside this one? It is a general way of doing the programming. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
No, but if the problem is, if you're doing like this, what is the problem? So here, if here in this scenario, 8 records are there, that's fine. It will execute fast. For example, if there is 1 million records, can I say this for loop will take time?
Yes, it will take time.
Yes.
So,
it will
so
take
now this is not the feasible solution. Now we need to execute this. If I'm able to reuse the thread, can I say immediately I will reduce the time? So what I will do is, so there are, see this 1 million records, it is the customer list size is 1 million and it is executing and it is taking 10 hours. Okay. So can I say here, this is one thread only because that's a main thread. You're writing the code inside the main method. That means, can I say main method is also a thread?
Yes, yes.
So this is a single thread is taking 10 hours. Now what I will do, I will use a thread pool. Okay, I will use a thread pool, and in that thread pool, instead of 10 threads, I will use 4 threads. And each thread will call this, take the load, and then can say automatically it will, the time will be reduced from 10 to at least 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
all the threads will run parallelly, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Now, if I'm using this, can I say this is the efficient way? Whether
Right.
the number of records are more, less, anything, correct? Now let us look at this, the second part. The first one you already know. You don't need to learn anything. Now, in order to implement the second one, what I'm saying, I'm using a thread pool. Whether it's a thread or thread pool, run method so it will start the execution from the run method, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Now, in order to do that, what I should do, let me create a thread, correct? Now, let me create a class, trigger email, message class. Okay, trigger email for policy. Okay, now I'm creating a class called trigger email for policy. Okay, now I am telling that implements runnable. So why am I doing this one? Because I wanted to use a thread pool. Whether I use a thread pool, whether it's a 2 thread or 3 thread, whatever may be the thread, what is the thing I wanted to achieve? Using the multiple, like fixed number of threads, the process has to be automated. Now, every thread the flow of execution starts from a run method. So that is the reason I created a class implementing runnable interface. Then can I say now I need to override the run method?
Yes.
Yes. Now in the run method, what I will do, whatever the logic that you are writing, this triggering a email separately, the same method, I will keep it here in this class, correct? In this class. Okay. Now, can I say in the run method, I will call this method? So that, see, logic that means you already know someone has written how to trigger an email. Everyone knows that logic, correct? But only thing is problem is it is taking time if it is a single threaded execution. Now I am converting the existing code into a multi-threaded execution so that I can save some time. Now, in the triggering a email is a method which has already the code. Now, what I'm doing, I'm writing the system.out.println. Okay. Now, in order to trigger email, if you want to do in real life, you can use Java Mail API. Okay. Triggering or sending email
Can
to.
we show customer name in this one?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. So now whenever you are triggering a email, what is the information you need?
Policy number.
Email.
Policy number, customer name, what is the premium?
Premium.
So
Premium.
with those three details, you will create, hey, hi, customer name, followed by, for this policy, the premium is due on this date. Please
Yes.
continue to pay the premium. So that is a message I want to construct and then trigger a message, correct? Now,
Yes.
if I want to, so each person will have a different name and each person will have a different policy number. Now, can I accept that customer object here? Now, currently, where is my data is stored? In the customer object, right? This is a customer name, this is a policy number, this is a premium, right? In this customer object, the data is stored. Now, I want a customer object. Can I write customer here?
No.
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 So, because we cannot modify the run method signature. Now, how can I take that? Now, can I create for this class? Yeah, I will create a constructor. In this constructor, I will take the customer object, correct?
Yes.
Customer C, private, customer C. This dot C equal to C. Okay, done. Now in the run method or wherever I want, I can use C, correct? Now I have C. Now here I will take customer C. Now here string message equal to, I have to create a message, correct? Hi, followed by C dot customer name. So whenever you are getting a message, can I say the message will be like your hi, followed by Karthik. This Karthik can be anything. If it is a Karthik policy, it will be Karthik. If it is some other policy, some other person name. Okay. For policy number, this policy number is a dynamic variable, correct? This value can change. Premium is due and amount is something, dynamic value. Please pay.
Before the due date.
Yeah. So this is a message I need to send. So in order to construct this, what I'm doing, hi, customer name plus, okay. Now for the policy number. Now this is done. Now let me go to the next line. So what I will do instead of this one, I will use string buffer. String buffer s equal to, or I can use a string builder because we are doing the what you call multi-threading. So string builder is string. Okay. Now s dot.
String buffer is thread safe, right?
Yeah, whichever is thread safe, we can do. I might be mistaken, but whichever is, so there is a confusion every time I will get. So you can look at the code. If you have a synchronized methods, then that will be a, okay, I think string buffer is synchronized. We can use string buffer only. I get confused with these two. Okay, now I will put a message first. Hi, plus C dot customer name. Okay, done. And then I will do append for policy number, and the policy number I can get it from dynamic value. Policy number plus, what is the message? Premium is due and the premium amount is plus C dot premium. Okay. Now let us do S dot append. Okay. Please pay before the due date. Please pay before the due date to avoid late charges. Okay. Now done. Now this is a, so now after this you have the code. call the Java mail API to trigger email. Okay, so this is my trigger message. Now, can I say in the run method, I am calling this one, correct? Any questions so far?
No, Karthik.
Okay, thanks. So now I have done this now. I have the multi-threading code also. Now, what is the thing I said? Instead of doing a single thread process, I wanted to do multi-threading. So in order to do multi-threading, I am using an executor framework. So first, let us start with a fixed thread pool. So if I do executors dot new fixed thread pool, correct? New fixed thread pool. So you guys tell me how many number of threads we wanted to use? 2, 3?
4.
Okay, let us use 3 because we have around 8 records only, correct? If I use 4 again, 2, right? So let us use for 3. Later, if you want, you can change it. Okay. Now, what the new fixed thread pool is? New fixed thread pool is, Shankar, just wait for some time. Let me complete it and you can ask your questions or anything at the end. Okay. Now, executor service, new fixed thread pool is returning executor service as a response. Okay, now I am taking that executor service EX. Done. Now we need to start. Now, so now in order to start, now let us first iterate over the list, customer list. Okay, customer dot size. Okay, done. Now, as I mentioned, guys, so if I am creating like a class and implementing a thread in runnable interface, and if I have to make it as a thread, I have to create a thread object and then call the start method to create an independent path of execution. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. But here, now what I'm doing, I'm not, this is for this class, if I want to create a thread object, how I have to do? Can I say I will write a main method and the thread t equal to new thread and I will pass the runnable interface. Since this class is implementing runnable interface, can I say like this? This is nothing but a thread object.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
On top of this, I can call the t dot start method. Correct? Yeah. So this is the way to create a thread object if I am implementing a runnable interface. But this is with this process, the disadvantage is we cannot reuse a thread. So I don't want to use this. So we are not using this. Now, let us come back. Now, since we are using an executor framework, we can use, let us call ex dot. There are some different methods called submit method, execute method. I'll come to that later. So for time being, let us take execute. So whenever you are executing, calling the execute method, so this will create an independent path of execution. Okay. Now the question. Now what does the execute method is taking?
Runnable object.
So runnable object. Now see, runnable is an interface in Java. Can I create an object to an interface?
No.
No.
Now how can we create and pass the object here?
Implementation class object.
So I have to create a class, implement the runnable interface, and then create an object. Now, if you look at in our example, what is the class that is implementing runnable interface?
Trigger email for policy.
So can I create an object to this class and pass it?
Yes.
Okay. So before this, let me create an object. Okay. But what is this in the trigger email? What does this method? What does this class is taking? Customer as a constructor argument. Correct?
Yes.
Is the constructor taking a customer object? Yes, because whenever I am triggering a message, I need the customer. So now can I say how? See, that is the reason I am iterating over the customer list. Okay. Now each time I will pass the customer object. Customer list dot get of I. Yeah. Now can I say I have created an object to my runnable interface. Now can I pass that here?
Yes.
Okay. Now that's it. So this will create an independent path of execution. Now let us see how the flow will happen. Now internally the thread pool, all the thread pools are using queue. Thread pool uses queue concept. What is the meaning of a queue?
First come, first serve.
Yeah, first in, first out,
First.
correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, so let us take an example. So where is our data is present? In the list, correct? In the list, we have customers, correct? Okay, C, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. Okay. How many threads are there for us? Just now we are taking 3.
3
Okay.
threads.
Now let us write the customer names as well. Okay. Now what is the first customer name? Karthik. Second, Harish and Ashok.
Harish.
Karthik, Harish, Ashok, then Shankar, Ganesh, Naveen. Shankar, Ganesh, Naveen. And Ravi, Raju, John. Ravi, Raju, and one more, C8, John. Correct? This is how my data, and these are the 3 threads. Any questions so far? Okay.
No, sir.
No.
Now, how the execution, see, now I will debug it maybe in another 5 minutes, but how the execution flow will happen. So whenever I start the program, so all the data, see, can I say for all these employees, you wanted to the task of message triggering a email. So these are all the dynamic data. On this dynamic data, what is the task that you want to perform? Task is nothing but triggering email, correct?
Triggering email, yes.
Okay. Now this triggering email can be taken by multiple threads, but the data should come dynamically, correct? The customer
Yes.
object is different. Now, what will I do? So this T1 thread, so when I start the work, T1 thread will start the first employee. Okay, what is Karthik? T2 will start C1. T3 will start T2. Can I say this is how that means this is the beauty of a multi-threads. All the threads can execute parallelly because of the independent path of execution.
Yes.
Now, can I say T1 thread? Yeah, whoever is not speaking, please unmute. I can hear my voice. Okay. T1 thread is executing, triggering a email functionality on Karthik. Am I right?
Yes.
So similarly, T2 thread is executing, triggering email functionality on Harish. T3 thread is executing, triggering a email functionality on Ashok. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think assume that these 3, so in order to complete this triggering a email, so generally it takes some time, correct? Now, for example, let us take, it has taken 5 minutes of time. Okay. Now, T1 thread has taken 5 minutes of time, or T2 thread. So after certain amount of time, can I say the work will be completed, the run method?
Yes.
So, for example, let us take out of these 3 threads, T2 thread has completed the work of triggering an email to the Harish. Done. Now, can I say T2 thread is free?
Yes, it is
Yes.
free.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but in the general way of thread creation, can you reuse a thread?
No.
No, we can't.
No. But using a fixed thread pool, we can reuse a thread. I will show you that. Now, that means can I reuse a thread means I don't need to create a new thread. Say same thread can take some other customer from this here and then execute the trigger email functionality. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now the question comes, see, there are 8 customers. Which customer should take? So in order to decide that, it follows internally the first in, first out approach. So whatever the data that you have submitted, all the data will go into the queue mode. So out of this one, which comes next in the first in, first out service?
C4, C3 already.
I think
C3.
C3. Yeah,
Yes.
done. Now, for example, after again, like while these are executing, assume that T3 is free. Now, can I say T3 is completed the execution of C2? Yes. Then T3 is free. Now T3 can take some other work. Now, which employee can T3 can take?
C4.
Ganesh, correct? Done. Now assume that T1 is completed. Then can I say T1 can take what? Naveen.
C5.
Yeah, Naveen. Like which? Now maybe T3 is completed. Now T3 can take C6, correct?
Yes.
So now let us see is this what happening or not. can I say if it is happening, can I say that I am doing the multi-threading and I'm reusing the threads as well?
Yes.
And this will take lesser time than the single thread execution.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
are you creating n number of threads, or is it good to create 3 threads in any processor?
A limited number of
Yes.
threads.
Yeah. So that means you don't need to change your hardware settings, correct?
Right.
Now let us do the debugging. So in order to do the debugging, I'm just keeping a first debugger point here. And then from the executor service, you know that run method, correct? We need to keep the run debugger in the run method. Okay, now I request everyone to please observe carefully. Okay, debuggers Java application. Okay, now so these are all the customer objects creation done. So now customer list. So I'm adding the data to the customer list, done. Okay, now till now, how many threads are there?
0 threads.
Zero
One
threads.
Only
thread.
one,
Main
only
thread.
one main
Main.
thread. Okay. Now, some might think that whenever I say executors.new fixed thread pool, does this line creates see, whenever I create a thread object like thread t equal to new thread, does that create a thread?
No.
No.
Whenever you call a start method, only thread will be created. Similarly, whenever I call executors.new fixed thread pool, does this create a 3 fixed thread pools? No. Correct. It is the specification yet that you're giving. Correct. Done.
Yeah.
Now what you are doing, you are iterating. Correct. So whenever you are iterating, look at here. See, before the like now I'm on the execute method. So does the any thread is created before the execute method?
No.
No.
No. So as I mentioned, start method is responsible to create an independent path of execution. Whenever you are using a executor framework, execute method is responsible to create independent path. Now where that independent path will start? Run method only. Now do I have the run method? Yes. Now let's look at here. Now here one thread will start. Look at here. See, can I say one thread has started? Look at here.
Yes.
So this thread is executing what employee? Karthik. So is it the same that I told first? T1 started executing. Yeah.
Yes.
So T1 is executing Karthik. Is it now? So first thread is executing Karthik. Now I assume that this is busy. Now let's go to the main method. Now let me do further. Okay. Now what is that fixed thread pool? 3 I have given. Currently, how many threads I have created in the thread pool? Only one. Look at here. Pool 1, thread 1. Okay, done. Now, if I do execute again, is there a chance to create one more thread? Yes.
Yes.
Because we have mentioned 3. So till 3, it will create a thread. Now let us do. See, does it created a second thread?
Yes.
Okay. Now is it executing run method?
Yes.
And what object it is taking? Harish. So can I say that T2 is taking the second object because first in, first out, correct?
Yes.
So why it is following the queue? If it is not following the queue, how does it know that it is like a fighting between the threads, right? Which object I have to take, correct? If I'm not, see here, if I say queue, that means the threads know that some order, like, hey, first this is done, next go to this. If I don't mention anything, then can I say that threads does not know what object to take? So that's the reason the thread pools internally follows the queue. Okay, done. Now, so 2 threads are busy. Now I am going to the main method. I am debugging again. So can I say there is a chance to create one more thread?
Yes.
Because we mentioned the fixed thread pool as 3. So look at here. Can I say pool 1, thread 3? Yes. Now what it is executing? Ashok. Can I say this is how it is working now?
Yes.
Now can I say all the threads are free, like busy executing?
Yes.
So I'm not completing. Let us continue that. Now let me come to the main method and see. Now let us debug further and see whether it will create another threads or not. Is it created? I have completed the execute method, but the new thread is created? No.
No.
Why it is not created? Because we are using a new fixed thread pool.
The existing threads.
Yeah. The new fixed thread pool, the concept says that the number of threads, whatever you are mentioning, that many number of threads will be created. And See now what your question will be, where this, whenever I say fourth employee, so where this employee is gone, correct? Shankar. Now if I do currently, now what is the customer, what is the index? 4.
0.
From the
Okay,
list,
4.
4 means the employee object is, what is the employee object? Ganesh.
Ganesh.
Where this Ganesh will go, correct? That is a question comes, right? These employees or whatever the data that you are iterating will go into the queue mode. So the same order, whatever you are adding, it will be added to the queue. Okay. Now can I say that all the employees are added to the queue?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now my main method is in the last line. Now can I say this is how the queue looks like? So though it is a list, but this data is added to the queue internally.
Okay.
Okay. Now let us, which you guys tell me which thread we will complete, which thread?
Second one.
Okay. Whenever I'm executing the second one, so it is calling the trigger email method, correct? Yes. So sending email to the person. Now string buffer. Now what I'm doing, I'm getting the string. What is the message? Look at here. Hi Harish. For policy number, premium is due and premium amount is this one. Please pay before the due date, correct? Now, so I can put this message back to this object also, correct? In the customer object, I have a message variable. In this message, I can set this message also, correct? I did not do, later we will do it. Now can I, if I come to the line number 24 and if I do F6, can I say that I have completed the trigger email functionality?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now if I say line number 15, can I say the thread 2 has completed executing the Harish customer, sending an email to Harish? Yes.
Yes.
Now, after that, can this thread 2 will be free?
Yes.
Yes.
Now if I do F8, so whenever the thread is free, what the executive framework will do, now this is becoming free. Now, from the queue, you tell me which employee is free. I mean, like next, which employee comes?
Shankar.
Shankar. Now T2 will start executing Shankar immediately. You don't need to say anything. So it's all taken care by the executive framework. Now what I am doing, look at guys, I am clicking F8 directly. See, again, the control has come. That means, can I say I am reusing the thread?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Now, what is the employee it is taking? Shankar, correct? That means earlier the thread is not reused, correct? One thread is not calling the run method twice. But do you guys see in the pool 1 thread 2, it is executing the Shankar, I mean like run method twice?
Right.
Yes.
Am I reusing the thread?
Yes.
So now Shankar. So actively T2 is executing Shankar. Now you guys tell me which thread I want to complete. Shall I proceed with the 2 or 3? Now let us take 3. Okay. Now currently 3 is executing C2, Ashok, correct? Now let me do F6. Okay. Now what is the message? Look at here. Hi Ashok, for policy number PL 9453, premium is due, please. Premium amount is this one. Done. Now if I say F6, if I do F6, then this will be done. So T3 will become free. Whenever this is free, if I do F6, it will be free. Now what the T3 we should take?
Ganesh.
Now let us see. Let me do F8, guys. F8. So again, you see currently the line number, the cursor is control is in line number 15. If I do F8, that means I'm completing this work. And if the thread is becoming free and it is executing run method, means if the control is coming to line number 14, means I can say that thread is running, calling the run method again, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let me do F8. See, it is coming here. What is the employee? It is taking Ganesh. Now, can I say it is reused again, thread 3 also?
Yes.
So this is a multi-threading program, guys. So again, thread 3 executing. Now let's go to the thread 1. Now, whenever you run the program, can you observe this thing of whether the thread is getting reused or not?
Yes.
If I run the program, if you are
normal.
good enough to understand the output lines, if you are good enough to understand the system.out.println, then you can think that it is reusing the program, reusing the threads. But
without
the best
debug,
way
it is
to
not visualized it is difficult to visualize how it is executed.
Yeah. So that's the reason, I mean, like I'm trying to tell you using a visualization. Now, T1 thread is executing. See, now let us complete this one and see what is the next one T1 can take. Naveen,
Naveen.
correct?
Naveen.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us do F6. Okay, done. Okay, now if I do F8, it will take Naveen. Look at here. Is it taking Naveen? Yes.
Yes.
So can I say I am
Yes.
doing multi-threading?
Yes.
Okay. Now this
Yes,
is
we are
how
doing.
the multi-threading will execute. Okay. Now the question is, sir, how can I do for my project? Now, can someone tell me your project scenario? Yesterday I have given you the homework to see what is the use case that you can do multi-threading in your project. Someone tell me that. What is the use case that you have brought up? Anyone?
Yeah, Karthik. Actually, in my project, actually, I working for Cisco. In that Cisco, we have that some call center project. It was regarding this IVR calls. So simultaneously, for that, we are using this concept.
Okay. Can you tell me the scenario? I will tell you how you can implement the scenario.
For example, see, IVR call means calls will be n number of calls at the same time. Will be n number of calls. So we need to process that one. Actually, we need to divert that call to the customer. That means to the customer care team. So for that reason, we will get n number of calls simultaneously. Means flow so frequently calls will coming. So that time we are using this one.
Okay. Now in your example, I can say frequently number of calls is nothing but that is replaced with this customer functionality, correct?
Yes, yes.
At a point of time, you might get at the same time, like for example, now the time is 6:56. At this point of time, you might get 1,000 calls, correct?
Yes.
Now that 1,000 calls, you can iterate over this, correct? And then you have to trigger. So now what you have to do, you have to divert this call to
Customer care.
a different person, correct?
Yes.
Whoever is free. Now,
Yeah.
can I say that whether the person is free or not, you have some logic. So that
Yeah.
logic, what you can do, you can write in one method. That method you can call it as divert the call to a free person. Okay, that method name you have written as divert the call to free person. So this is a method you have written. Now this method has to be called for multiple, correct? Every thread. So what you can do, you can keep this one in the run method. Now, and if you want to change it, what you can do, you can change the class name and you can change this customer object name, everything, correct? But the thing, whoever wants to do the multi-threading for their application, can I say this is like a prototype now? This is
Yes.
a template.
Yes,
Now,
yes,
wherever
yes.
you want to do the multi-threading, what you need to do, whatever the, see, the what will change in your project. This customer list object will change. Instead of customer, it can be an employee, it can be a policy, it can be anything, correct? Now, and then you were, instead of keeping the class name as a trigger email for policy, you will keep some other class name, which is making sense for your project. And that customer, whatever the object, employee or customer, you will take here. And then instead of triggering an email, you will change this method name and write your functionality. And then copy that call, copy that method from the run method. Am I right?
Same thing.
Now the same scenario can be used for any program multi-threading. Okay. Any question, guys? This is about a multi-threading, how to do the multi-threading. I will come to the remaining thread pools later, but ask the question only on the fixed thread pool. I haven't explained cached thread pool, scheduled thread pool, new single thread pool till now. I'm asking the questions on fixed thread pool only. Does it understood?
What is the ideal time of
There is no ideal time. Can if yeah.
for threads?
So there is no
Free
ideal time.
threads
It depends
immediately
on.
take that. Okay.
So
Thread alive also there is no time, right, Karthik, in this scenario?
no, you cannot say those. Those are the things. It's not like if you want to execute a method, you can check whether it's alive or not, but that is not into consideration.
Okay.
So if there are any exceptions occurred, how we can handle it?
The same thing. It will be thrown back, correct? So whatever the exception that you are writing, can I say, see, whenever there is an exception, can you say that you will store in your table, correct?
Right.
So in the
Let's say we
Oracle,
could
for
not send
example,
email for one person.
for example, now you could not send an email because you do not know the email ID. Okay.
Or
Now,
the email is bounced back or something. Some exception happened while sending.
so for example, can I say in this one try catch I need to write? So that's a business logic, correct?
Correct.
That is, see, whether you are doing a multi-threading or not, can I say that scenario has to be handled?
Yeah, I mean,
Whether the
I'm
email-
just thinking, is there any possibility to capture that and again trigger that again?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Whether irrespective of this multi-threading, even if it's a single thread scenario, can you do that or not? You need to have a list of or report how many members you have sent, how many members the email triggering email is failed. Do you need the report?
Right.
Even without a multi-threading also you want, correct? Whenever
Correct.
you're writing this trigger email functionality, can I say it should include all of those?
Right.
Okay. Then in order to, if you want to know how to implement that, what you can do is in this message, or you can create a global one list of failure. Okay. Now you can use some customer object here. In that you can see what is the failure message, etc.
Right.
For time being, I'm not using anything. Failure list, new array list. Okay. Now whenever there is an exception, can I say you will come to the exception block?
Right.
Right. In this exception block, you can add that exception to the list dot add. Whatever the exception you are getting, that you can add it to the list, correct? Now, so once you are completed, entire process is completed, can I say this list will have the complete data?
Right.
And then you can extract from this list and you can insert into some table, right? For everything, beginning at the end of the process, you can create one table in the Oracle, and like exception table or exception report or summary report, something. And then you can store into the database, right?
Right. Again,
and
we can process that one.
Yes. Or what you can do, whenever you are taking this one, generally the way we process is, whenever you are taking the data, select star from policy. In this table, you can keep one variable called process switch, one column. So beginning of the process switch will be null. For example, if you are triggering the email, everything is completed. Can I say you can update the switch back to Y?
Right. Yeah.
So whenever you are at the end of the process, you can update to Y. Then whenever you come back, can that record will come here? Whenever you execute a query. So then you have to write a query in such a way that process switch is null or process switch is equal to X, correct? Now X means exception or EX, whatever it is. Okay. Now in this way, if you run before doing this process, if you run, you might get 1 million record. Okay. Now after completion of the process, all the successful records will update it to the Y. All the exception records will update it to the EX. And then whenever you run the query, it might give you 100 records or 1000 records. That means you can trigger the same method. I'm like right click, run as Java application. Again, that 100 records will be there and it will check it, right?
We can update the data accordingly. We can run it again. Yeah.
Yes. So that is a business logic that you have to do. So whether it is a multi-threading process or single thread process, that is how you do. I just gave you the example, one way how to do that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
But that is not related to this multi-threading at all. Okay. That's a business scenario, how to handle it.
Got it.
Any questions on multi-threading, guys? Are you able to visualize?
Yes, one more question from me.
Yeah.
If this thread pool is following a queue, right? First in, first out. So what is the use of thread scheduler? It is
thread scheduler is to schedule. For example, when do you schedule this triggering a email in the daytime or nighttime? Generally,
it is nighttime only, 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Mostly
so
jobs will.
For example, if you want to schedule this, then what you need to do every day, you have like if you are the person, you have to run it. Can I say you will get up at 12 a.m. and then run the program in the production? Okay. So if that is the case, sometimes you forget. Then what happens?
It will
It's
be
a compliance to the company, right? As per the IRDC, if it is an insurance, as per IRDA policy, you have to send a message within 30 days. If you forget on a specific day, can I say that 30 days is gone and the company will get a premium for 1 lakh employees after 1 day, which is a late, correct?
yes.
Okay. Because of your mistake, the company cannot do the loss, right? So that means you need to automate. So once you have done once you have written the multi-threading program, now you want to trigger this multi-threading program every day 12 p.m. Okay, and assume that it gets completed 4 hours, and you want to trigger again 4 a.m. because if there is any failures, again it will be triggered. Correct? Now, using the
Yes.
thread scheduler, one of the thread scheduler is nothing but an opcon scheduler. You can Google it. What is an opcon scheduler? Okay. Now in the opcon scheduler, you can schedule this 12 p.m. and 4 a.m. Okay. And at the same time, I'm telling here fixed thread pool number of 3. So if instead of hard coding 3, you want to take this number as an input from the scheduler. Correct? So today, see, for example, you will, so before triggering the process, you want to check, like I have 10 million records. Then can I say that I will update it to 5? Correct?
Yes.
So if that is the case, then what you can do, can I say that this should be a runtime argument? That runtime argument also can be sent through the opcon scheduler. So if you want to schedule a time, or if you want to send some runtime arguments, then you can go for a scheduler. That is one of the thread scheduler is nothing but an opcon scheduler.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone?
Can we set the thread name here in this particular format? Is it possible?
Yeah. So what is the process to get a thread name?
To set name method.
Okay. You wanted to set name
Yes,
of a
yes.
thread, right?
Yes.
I think we cannot set it because it is taken from the pool, correct? But at any point of time you want to get it, you can get it from the thread name here.
Yes, yes. This is
But you don't need to. I don't think you can set a name to a thread in the pool. But I'll check that. I haven't done that one. I will check that. Sorry. Using the get name, you can get it.
I can.
But yeah.
One more like that in a user framework, like what they are doing. When the thread is dead, it will move to the thread pool. Sir. Once the thread is dead, how they are taking the thread and how they are doing this, come back to the start, newly born.
So here, after completion of the run method, it is not considered as a thread dead, first of all. Okay. So that's a different one. It is not considered as a dead. So if you want to look at it, then what you can do is you can look at the source code present inside this new fixed thread pool. Okay. Now in the new fixed thread pool, they are calling thread pool executor. Look at here. You can look at here internally this code. So this method, that means they are calling the constructor. Now thread pool executor, there is a class and they are calling one more constructor. Okay. Let me do it again. So you can look at the source code present in this one. Okay. So unit into nano score pool size. Okay, pool size they are doing. And I think in the execute method, let us look at the execute method. Okay, in the executors. See, execute is a, I mean, like in the executor service, there is a execute method. That's a interface. It's a, what method it would be? Abstract method. That method is implemented in these classes. Whichever the method you are comfortable, you can use. Look at here, schedule. So see here, runnable schedule task, something they are calling. So delayed execute if it is for schedule task. So do decorate task. So if you go inside this, you can look at it, how it is happening. but that is not needed. If you are interested, you can look at it.
Oh, okay, sir. I will check.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, anyone?
Yeah, hi, Karthik. For any reason, if some thread got struck, what happens?
I mean, like, what is the scenario where the thread will stuck?
See, in the real time when it is processing huge data, for some reason.
Okay,
some
then
thread
the thread will not stuck, guys. So I think that might be a problem in your business logic, correct? In the you mean to say that in the trigger email there is some whether it's a runtime
Any
exception or
Yeah.
anything, correct? Now
Yeah.
then that you will have to handle it here. If you that you have to handle it here. Whenever you handle it, and then that whatever the failure mechanism that will be recorded here, and then thread will continue to execute, right? So in the business,
if it is stuck in between, I think let's say one.
Whenever you say how stuck, where it will stuck. Generally, it will not.
Yeah, I'll tell you. This, let's say, tribe came inside a tribe block, and it is waiting for some resource, and it is there only. It is waiting for that resource there.
Yeah.
So my question is, only one thread will be hold on,
only one, whichever the thread is executed. For example,
so
you have
rest
done
of the queue
sleep.
will be cleared by other threads, right?
Yes. So, for example, thread.sleep. So this line of statement will be executed by every thread, correct? But you are thinking that out of 3 threads, 1 thread went into the sleep mode. Right. But when it has to come back to the execution after the time, the operating system did not pick it. If that is a scenario, then other 2 threads are there, right? So if those 2 threads has completed the execution and if they are becoming free, then they will continue to execute.
So we end up having only
not
one,
like
one process appending.
Yeah, at any point of time, whenever I have 9 employees, right? It does not mean that T1 will take 3, T2 will take 3, T3 will take 3. It is not equal distribution. Whenever the thread is free, it will execute. Okay. T1 can take 8 and T2 can take 1 and sorry, this can take 7, this can take 1, 8, and this one can execute 1. So assume that this one and this one is taking time. Maybe some you wantedly kept sleep state, and whenever you're debugging, you are making this is fast. Then this T1 will execute as many number is possible, and T2 will wait.
Okay.
Correct. So there is no condition that the distribution will happen equally.
Okay, got it.
So now, whenever even the same thing, whenever I'm debugging, can I say that I can choose whatever the thread I want to debug? Correct. Now continuously, so I will first when I start the program, thread 1 will execute, thread 2 will execute, thread 3 will execute. 3 are executing 3 individuals, 3 customers. Now continuously, what I will do F12 for thread 2 only. Can I say that whenever I do F8, thread 2 will become free, and thread 2 can take some other work from the pool?
Correct.
Yeah. So there is no equal distribution.
Only thread 2 only clears all other queues.
Yes, it might also happen. Yes.
Okay.
But generally, I mean, like you cannot write a program based on a thread. You will write a program generally. If any thread is going, see, that will happen whenever you say thread.sleep, the lock will not be released, but the thread will go on to the sleep mode. And after this time, it has to come back to the execution, but it depends on operating system. But somehow the operating system did not bring that thread back to the execution. Remaining 2 threads are there, correct? Those threads will continue to do the work.
Okay. Second question, if you have wait and notify
just
in this
Shankar, yeah, let's give some time to others. Okay, I'll take your question later. Yeah. So the one who asked a question, does it clarified? Earlier, it is blocked as someone who asked a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Koti Reddy, go ahead.
Yeah. If the blocker means that will happen for every thread, right? Because it's a
no, it doesn't matter, right? So whenever you say, it all depends on, right? See, if it is happening for every thread, then can I say it's your coding mistake?
Yes.
Yeah, you need to rectify it. Even if you do, if it is if your coding mistake is there, whatever, whether it's a single thread execution, multi-thread, whatever the program you write, it will fail, right? Even if you don't write multi-threading, if you write a code generally using a for loop, that also will fail. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then, so you need to see if there is a problem. See, I'm always talking about multi-threading. I'm not talking about your functional coding. Okay. You have to make sure that this is proper, correct? If this is not proper, no one can do anything. Does it answer?
We cannot, yes. Well, generally, we cannot reuse the thread, right? But how come under the hoods executor framework can you reuse the thread?
That is the beauty of the executive framework, right? So that is a disadvantage of normal threads, and Java cannot see if you are using every time the threads. So that is what the thread pool executive framework is taking the thread from the pool, and after completion of run method, it is not considering that thread as dead. Okay, it does not have a thread status like that. So it is using some other mechanism and making sure that after completion of a run method, still the thread is not dead, and then it is triggering the method again. If you want to look at the code how it is happening, you can go to the execute method and look at it. I mean, like, so that is not needed for us, but I cannot show you that because see here, ensure pre-start, add worker. So there are so many things, worker count. So it is not like a thread behavior. It is all these codes are going into the concurrent framework. Look at here in the concurrent framework. So if general way of thread creation, then it will go to your thread class. But if it's a what you call executive framework, they have created a separate package called java.util.concurrent. In that, they handled it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karthik, this wait and notify is also applicable in this case also.
Wherever you are using threads, you can do it. If it's the same object, the lock will be, the thread will come back. So wait, notify all, those are the concepts. That's whenever you are working, whenever there is a lock on happening on the same account or same object, notify will bring back to the execution. Wherever you want, you can use it.
Okay, this executor framework came along with the threads, or it introduced lately?
It is, I think you have joined late, it is introduced in Java 1.5. Till 1.5, there was no executive framework.
Oh, okay.
I think that is the first I have started explaining. I think you might be late to the class. Okay. So any other questions, anyone? Will you guys write the program?
Yes, sir, we will write.
Okay. So whenever you're writing a program, so I'm not sharing the code today. I want you guys to write the program on your own and share that code in the WhatsApp group. That is the work for you guys. And just wait. And the thing that you wanted to do is, whenever you're writing a code, try new fixed thread pool and give some number of threads. At the same time, can you guys try new cached thread pool and tell me what is the behavior? I want you guys to try new fixed thread pool at the same time new cached thread pool. And you guys tomorrow tell me what is the difference between a fixed thread pool and the cached thread pool.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the work for tomorrow is, or the work for today, sorry, not tomorrow. The work for today is write the same example, whatever I have written on your own. I'm not sharing the code. So that way you will have some, you will face, I mean, like sometimes you will, you do not know what should do, etc. Right? So you will face some issues, and you will, tomorrow when I share the code, if you look at back, then the issue will be resolved. Okay, I just want you to try on your own. That will give you confidence, guys. And then once you write the code, if you are able to write the code, then modify the code of executors.new fixed thread pool to new cached thread pool, and then debug it. New cached thread pool does not take any number of threads, and see what is happening. And you guys need to tell me what is the difference between a fixed thread pool and the cached thread pool in tomorrow class. So does the homework make sense?
Yes, Karthik.
Yes.
Okay. So will you guys be able to write the code?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you're writing the code, don't butify it. So first I have taken a main class and I have created my data. In order to create a data, I have used some class customer. In your project, you might be looking at some business scenario. You take the class according to that business scenario. Done. Okay. After that, I have to create a multi-threading. Multi-threading means it has to execute a run method. So I have created a class and using the run method, implemented runnable interface and overridden a run method. But at the same time, I need an object in the reference. So I have used this custom class constructor and taking the object, and then I have done my work. And I went to the main class. In order to call the fixed thread pool, I've used the new fixed thread pool method, and I want to call the execute method. Execute method takes runnable interface. I just created a runnable object of my class. I'm like where the run method runnable is implemented and passed my customer object. And in order to get the customer object, I have done the for loop, right? So it is so easy. So just, I want you guys to please practice. Okay. So have you, any other person have seen this before? Like multi-threading code?
No, Karthik.
Any others? Have you seen already?
Is this example, right? You're saying?
Not example, like multi-threading code. I mean, like you, some of you might be attending my free demo classes. I have explained salary calculation, right? So
Yes.
I'm asking in real, so whenever you go for an interview, they'll ask you, did you work on multi-threading or multi-threading, correct?
Yes, sir. They will
So,
ask.
yeah. So in order to tell that, you need to know something. So I'm telling before my explanation, whether it's a salary calculation or this one, have you guys heard of this multi-threading, how it will work?
Yes, we can tell yes.
Yeah. Okay, fine guys. If no question, that's all for today. Please do the homework and come back to tomorrow class. And I request once you have completed the code, please share your code in the WhatsApp group. I will have a look at it. Okay. Please do that, guys. It enhances your skills. It is for yourself, not for myself. And if you have any questions, please ask the questions. I see whoever is asking the question, they are only asking. I request to ask the other ones. And if you feel that you're not getting enough time, I'll keep them on hold, the persons who are asking. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.